Hello and welcome to Business as Usual. Would you like to be a guest on the show? Just give a call over to Drake at Access Television if you have an upcoming event you'd like to promote. Be more than happy to have you on the show. Drake at Access Television will introduce us, so just give a call. So today I got my friend A.M.S.I on. I almost forgot your name. That was good. Off to a great start. From the A.M.S.I Foundation. Welcome to the show, A.M.S.I.
That is okay. Thank you so much for having me, Kevin.
So let's go back to the beginning. Why did you guys start the foundation?
Yeah, so the A.M.S.I Foundation is achieving monumental strides independently, and we started in 2008. And the reason that we started is because members of our original board actually realized that students in the greater Lowell community and also in the communities in the Merrimack Valley, they weren't always finding the resources that they needed in order to attend college or trade school or do things after high school. What they found is by talking to parents and students, a lot of parents were actually encouraging their students to go into the workforce right after high school, which is a good thing. It is important to do that. But what a lot of parents and students weren't realizing is that actually college is a great place where they can grow professionally, personally, and they actually would be able to have more opportunities after graduating from college in the workforce. And so the foundation was originally started in order to offer resources such as scholarships, that's our main thing that we do, and also programs and speaking to students and parents to help them find those resources.
I mean, that is just huge because one of the things I see a lot of is first generation people going to college. So your parents never went, whether that's a financial aid form or, how do I even apply to college? Or, hey, where's the funding coming from? Because I was thinking of you today because I was thinking back many years ago. I'm 51 years old, so I'm okay with it. But when I first went to UMass Lowell, I want to say the whole year was $3,000.
Right.
It's a little bit more than that now.
Yeah, so college ranges, depending on the school that you go to, sometimes in-states is cheaper, or the public universities are a little bit less expensive, but even those are a lot pricier than they used to be. And then if you go private, the price goes all the way up to over $60,000 a year.
It is, it's scary, but like you said, a lot of people just get overwhelmed by it. So, they don't know, how do I apply, what are the resources I need? So they simply don't go because, well, I'm too confused. No one's here to help me. I feel overwhelmed, so I'm just going to not go.
Yeah.
And that's not the solution either. As we see now, it's challenging out there. Not saying that a college education is going to get you a job because it doesn't always, but it gives you that advantage. You learn, thinking skills. You learn how to be part of a team. I always say that there's a lot more to college than people know. They think, you just go and you study and you get your degree. But just the skill sets you learn, how to be part of a team, and the discipline. I think if nothing else, it's like, okay, this paper's due on this day, I have to have it done.
Definitely.
Because those are skills we want in the workforce. I don't want you to say, oh, yeah, I know you told me to get that done by Friday, but I thought you meant like 3 weeks from Friday.
Right.
That's not going to work and stuff. So it's kind of really important. So, so let's talk a little bit more about what the foundation does.
Yeah, so the foundation, what we are doing right now is we award scholarships to high school students in the Merrimack Valley area. And we also run a couple of programs, speaking engagements, mentoring programs, and when we are able to get in front of students, whether it's in a school, and some of our board members also mentor students one-on-one. So that's really the mission of the foundation, is to get our scholarships and those resources in front of students that may not, like you said, have the opportunity to get to them just from what they already know, what they already have access to.
But it's really cool because you have yourself, the board members, you have gone to school, and sometimes you come across people. Well, I don't know if it's for me, A.M.S.I. I have all these obstacles. Well, you guys have kind of been there, done that. Right. So you can say, yeah, I know what it was like to have to work, go to school, and everything. So, and just someone to believe in them too, saying, really, I can do that, A.M.S.I? I could go to school. Just having somebody, because they might not have that personal life. No one they know may have never gone to school. So like, well, am I the one, to start this in our family? I probably shouldn't do it. I should probably just go get a job. So having someone believe in them is kind of cool.
Yeah, one of our original board members, actually, when they were the foundation before it started, the idea kind of came out of mentoring a student who his mother didn't even think he was going to graduate from high school. He ended up graduating from high school and going into the Air Force. And while he didn't go to college, he ended up with a very bright future that when he was in high school, before being mentored by one of these board members, wasn't even a possibility in his mother's mind, in his own mind. He didn't think that he could get there. And now he's been in the Air Force for a while, so it's pretty amazing.
But that's what the mentoring does in my eyes. You know, it holds you accountable too. You know, maybe you're going in a direction you shouldn't be going in, and just having somebody there, you know, to be your friend, but also to call you out on it, saying, is this really what you want to do with your life, Shemai? You know, when you could do so much more. So having somebody there to kind of push you and guide you and know that somebody cares about you. You know, sometimes people downplay the mentoring, and I find it's just huge.
It's super important.
So let's do a little crystal ball. Okay, so it was 8 years ago you started. Fast forward to today. What's been some of the biggest challenges you faced?
Yeah, so we've gone through quite a bit. We are a very small organization. We're a completely volunteer board, so all of our board members and all of our committee members volunteer their time. They all have full-time jobs, they have families, they have their own lives. And when we originally started, we started with 2 scholarships. We were very small, and we did one event during the year. And what the one event was, it was just a big dinner. People would pay tickets, and it was a really fun event, and that funded our 2 scholarships, that one event. What we found was that it wasn't funding it as well as we had hoped. We were putting in all this effort, all this energy, and a lot of money actually. So a lot of the board members would contribute their own finances into making this one event happen. And so over the years, we actually moved to, instead of doing this one big dinner a year, we do a couple of small events throughout the year. We're going to talk about some of those events in a little bit, but and through those events, we've been able to go from 2 scholarships to 5 scholarships, which has been incredible. It's just amazing that we've been able to fund so many scholarships, and we've been able to grow really as an organization in the last 8 years, and we're looking to grow even more.
So you were there day one?
I was, actually, to let people know if they're interested. My older sister was the one that started the foundation, and so whether I wanted to be or not, I was involved day one. I wasn't on the board. I was actually in high school when she started the organization, and then I went away to college. But for the events that were happening and for the fundraising and the advertising, I was involved with all of it.
But it had to be great for someone your age to get involved at that level, because you're being surrounded by, you know, successful people. You see what it takes to run a successful event and be part of a team. So it had to be really a great experience for you, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. I mean, my sister's pretty amazing, and she's always looking to do that next best thing for the community. That's where it really started, was she wanted to make sure that not just Lowell, the whole Merrimack Valley had those resources.
So let's talk about some of the events you're doing now then.
Yeah, so actually, great segue into what is it that's going on right now. We very recently just ended our ink drive, and told you about that at a couple of events that I've joined you at. So for anybody that has heard about our ink drive, even though it's over, we will still collect used ink cartridges, unusable cell phones, tablets, laptops. We'll collect them throughout the year, and we partner with an organization called Cartridges for Kids, which is another nonprofit. And what they do is they work with nonprofits like ours that work with students, and they take the unusable materials and they recycle them appropriately. So it's actually a win-win. We're able to help our nonprofit because they give us a little bit of money for everything that we donate, and then they are recycling it, which is pretty fantastic. So even though that drive is over, we are still willing to collect, pick up, or if people want to drop off all year round. So we don't unfortunately have a physical location right now, but if they contact us by email, if you go to our website or anything like that, we will absolutely find a way to either pick up or have them drop off.
That's really cool. And I love that idea, because we all end up with those empty ink cartridges. And you know, I really mean to bring it back to where I purchased it for. Until you look, you know, in that bag in your office, and there's 7 of them sitting in the bag, and you're like, oh yeah, someday I'm really going to, you know, you're not. So to be able to give them to you, so that the A.M.S.I Foundation can pick up a little bit of money, or you know, you think about people with their used cell phones. You know, everybody's got 2 or 3. You're like, well, you know, I'll hold on to it. Why? You're never going to go back to that original, you know, flip phone, you know what I mean? And you're never going to trade it in or anything. So be able to give it to you guys so you can turn into a little bit of cash to help with the scholarships makes perfect sense for me.
So I just wanted to talk about a couple of other events that we have coming up. And actually, kind kind of excited. Today we found out we're planning a self-defense class in
it's
collaboration.
breaking news.
It is breaking news. I
like
don't
it.
even have all the details. And it's with Joshua Munoz, somebody I met at one of your events.
He's a good kid. I like him a lot.
He's pretty amazing. So we just got the approval today. So it's going to be at Middlesex Community College. All the information is going to be on our Facebook page very soon. And it is going to have a cost. It's going to be $20 to take the self-defense class.
That's a pretty reasonable cost.
It is. And the nice thing about it is that Josh doesn't want to get paid. So 50% of the proceeds will go to the A.M.S.I Foundation and our scholarships, and 50% is going to go to the Alzheimer's Association, which is important to Josh.
Which I know that's his cause and stuff. So when I met him and he told me that hey, I do these self-defense classes and all the money goes to charity, I was like, wow, just amazing. But that's what's nice about what you guys are doing. You're so open to good ideas. Like I said, we probably didn't think of that. Hey, there's a way for us to make some money for both sides, and also teaching self-defense, which is important too. And stuff. So
it'll be something beneficial for the community. Community members can be involved, and we're lucky. Middlesex Community College is letting us use the space for free as well. So this is actually going to not cost either nonprofit anything, and we're going to be able to raise a good amount of money for
both. Which is important, as you know, in the nonprofit world. You come up with these great ideas, and you're like, okay, but we have to get this much money just to break even. And there's days when you're like, oh my God, hopefully we get that big sponsor to come forward and stuff.
It's true.
So it's great that when going in, everything we make tonight is going to be profit for our causes.
Exactly.
That's kind of cool. What else you got going on?
We have a couple of other events. So the other two events that I wanted to tell you about are events that we do yearly. So the next one that's coming up besides the self-defense class is our Greens for Grads golf tournament. It's happening July 29th, which is a Friday, at the Merrimack Valley Golf Club up in Methuen. Now, I don't personally golf, but a couple of our board members do. And so if you don't golf but you want to be involved, you can volunteer that day. And then we're also going to have a banquet lunch, which is really fun. And there will be raffle prizes and a lot going on, music. It's really a great time. So it's a charity golf tournament.
Well, like you said, you don't need to golf to come and have fun, though.
Exactly. I'll be there and I don't golf.
That's what I like, about the golf tournaments. They've really become golf tournament / fundraisers now, where hey, you can come, you can pay and have lunch, buy some raffle tickets and stuff. It's like, I'm with you, I don't golf, but still you can still come out and support the cause without having to be a golfer. Of course, if you golf, we'd love you to be a golfer. Though.
Exactly. It's going to be a really fun day. We've had really successful events the last couple of years. This is our 4th year doing the golf tournament, so it's going to be a lot of fun, so people should check that out. And then the last event that we're doing is our 5th annual, very excited to announce that, Hallows Eve 5K. Fun Run and Walk. That's happening on Hallows Eve this year on October 30th, which is really fun and funny. This is our signature event, and the reason we call it our signature event is because we actually have over 500 people attend, whether they're runners, walkers, family members, kids, people spectating. We have vendors come to this event. There's a lot of things going on for kids at this event. People dress up in their costumes. We have a costume contest. So whether you want to walk the 5K, run the 5K, we have prizes, of course, for the people that win the 5K. There's just so much going on. This is our big end of the year, last final fundraiser, but it's really a blast. And we're already you're already able to sign up for the 5K. And we've had people, we opened it up right away after last year, and we have about 30 people already registered. They just registered right away because they were excited.
But it shows how great the event is, all kidding aside. I mean, that, hey, I want to make sure I get to do this next year. Because you know how that is. You're like, that was fun, and then like,
you forget.
It was last week. Oh, man. So.
We had someone actually last year who was very upset. He messaged us because he saw the poster the weekend after, and so he emailed me, and I said, oh, you can actually already register, and he signed up that day. It was so fantastic.
Well, like you said, you don't want to miss it twice and stuff. But, you know, just listening to you talk about the events, first I can hear the passion in your voice, which is why you're on the show today, by the way. But they're so varied, though. So you really have something for everyone. And that's what I like. You know, a lot of times, you know, we can get caught up in the things we like, you know, but as a nonprofit, we got to remember, just because we like it doesn't mean everyone else does. But from the golf tournament to the race, no matter what you like, there's an opportunity for you to come involved and help out the A.M.S.I Foundation. It's kind of neat. So let's talk about the involvement of your board members, because most of you are very involved in the community.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have a volunteer board. Again, they're very involved with other organizations. So they do give a lot of hours to the A.M.S.I Foundation, but they're involved in things like with the Alzheimer's Association, with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, with Team Walk for Cancer. So you name an organization in the Greater Lowell area, someone on our board or on one of our committees is probably involved with it. We have board members that live in the Dracut area, the Chelmsford area, the Lowell area, all the way up into the Andover area, and even in southern New Hampshire. They're involved in different parts of the community. Last year, we were lucky enough to get approval by our board to join the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce, which has been fantastic for us. We've been able to go to a lot of events with them because of that. We also joined the Merrimack Valley Visitors and Conventions Bureau, which has been really great. And we became a member of the Nonprofit Alliance of Greater Lowell. And through those organizations, by joining into their events and going to their meetings, we've been able to spread the word about the A.M.S.I Foundation. But the cool thing is we've also been able to support other organizations.
Sure.
There have been so many ways that it didn't even occur to us that we could potentially collaborate with other nonprofits. So by joining all of these different organizations, and actually by going to Friends of Kevin events, I have met so many people that want to support us, and we've been able to find ways to support them as well. So we're supporting two missions at the same time.
You hit it right on the head. I mean, people just have to know.
Yeah.
Because I find there's so many great causes like yours that people just maybe haven't heard of it. But especially the educational piece,
right.
You know, where we all seem to know somebody that either fought their way through school, you know, has the, you know, the loans to prove it,
right?
You know, so you know, so that, you know, is appealing to people. Hey, if I can come out, you know, and participate in one of their fundraisers, and that means there's going to be a scholarship for somebody else, who, you know, that might make the difference between going and not going to school.
Right, or being able to pay for books and not be, or having to borrow books, or being able to have a computer that's yours instead of going to the library. Yeah.
I mean, like you said, those are things, you know, unfortunately we take for granted. Like you mentioned, having a computer.
Yeah.
You know, but surprisingly, not everyone has a computer.
Right.
You know, and if you want proof, go over to the Dracut Library on any day.
Yeah,
you know,
same thing with the Lowell Library,
Lowell High. I see it every time I'm there. You know, that every one of those computers is being used.
Right.
So there's obviously, you know, sometimes we just take it for granted, or just not having an updated one that you're trying to do a project on, and it just won't support the software. So it does really make a huge difference. So obviously, this is a lot of work. So you always need people to help. So someone can just volunteer for one event if they like? Yeah,
they can. So if you want to get involved with any of our events for the A.M.S.I Foundation, visit our website. It's www.amsifoundation.org. And there's a contact us page. If you fill out the form on the contact us page, someone will respond, likely me, will respond and figure out a way for you to get involved, whether you want to be on a committee and we'd love to have you, or if you just want to show up the day of an event and help coordinate something. We do not require any amount of time. If your time is limited, but you want to be able to help set up one of our events, we'd love to have you. We're always looking for fresh blood, new people to join us, and we're happy to have people in any capacity.
Well, like you said, as you look at your road race, for instance, how it continues to grow, so obviously you need more volunteers every year to help it keep growing. Is there any particular skill set that you're looking for? We would love to have somebody that has this ability. Anything in particular?
If anybody out there knows that they're good at organizing or coordinating, we'd love to have you for the 5K in particular. That is an incredibly huge event to organize, and so we rely on kind of the same people every year. It would be great to have a couple of more adult people to coordinate. We have a lot of high school volunteers, which are great. We love our high school volunteers actually, but to be able to coordinate our high school volunteers maybe, or
sometimes
just the different sections.
You need that a little more mature person.
Yeah.
They just seem to have more of authority in the voice.
Exactly.
People take them a little seriously.
Yeah, well, actually, a couple of years now, we've had a few high school students that have taken charge, which has been great, but you know, making sure, you wouldn't believe the number of things, like even making sure that the route is clean after the race. No one thinks of that, but someone needs to be thinking of that.
Well, it's true, though, so this puts you on the spot.
That's okay.
What's your favorite part of being on the foundation?
So I think about that a lot because I've been involved with it since the beginning. It's changed over the years. So when I was younger, when I was sort of involved in a volunteer capacity, I'm old now, exactly. When I was involved more on a volunteer capacity, it was the day of the events. like amazing to go to these events and see it actually come to fruition because we spent all these months preparing for it. That's what it used to be. But now that I'm a little bit older, a little bit more mature, and I've gone through the college process, like you said, it's actually meeting the students that we give our scholarships to, because we take the time and we read all these applications and you learn about their stories. Some of them are heartbreaking, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. They go through so much, and they're getting the good grades, and they're finding the time to somehow volunteer or to support their families or work their jobs in order to just get through day to day, to graduate from high school and to in order to want to pursue college or trade school or whatever it is. So when we finally get to meet the students in person and award them their scholarships, it's really amazing.
Yeah, it was alarming because people my age, we don't recognize what happens nowadays, because I was in high school.
Sure.
I worked a part-time job, but I was in high school where I was talking to someone from Lowell High School, and I forget the number, it was astronomical, the percentage of kids who are working full-time, not 20 hours a week, full-time, and helping support their families and stuff. So you look at that, it is just kind of amazing. And when you get to read the stories and you see what people are going through, but they're not using it as an excuse.
No.
They're like, hey, you know what, but that all happened, that's all true, but I have to, make the life I can for myself. So. So let's backtrack a little bit. We started talking a little bit about the scholarships.
Sure.
We never talked about how someone could actually get one, though.
Absolutely.
That might be important.
Yeah, definitely. So our applications are currently available. They're still available. They're due next week, March 15th. And you can visit our website, again, www.amsifoundation.org, and our scholarships are on the Resource Center page. So they are due pretty soon, but you have time. We'll still accept them at the end of next week, so we're still looking for applications. And there are 5 scholarships. So I can tell you a little bit about each one.
Yeah, please.
So the first scholarship is the A.M.S.I Foundation Leadership Scholarship. And of course, that's geared towards a student that has shown leadership, not just in school. So it could be in school or outside of school, at a job. If they do have a job, leadership can be found in so many different places.
Amen to that.
And then we have the Community Service Scholarship, which is in memory of a woman named Juana Osorio. She's somebody that used to volunteer with the foundation early on, and she sadly passed away, and her family decided to start a scholarship in her name. Community service was in her blood, so she would volunteer for us, and she was highly involved with her church community, which is amazing. And then we have the JROTC Scholarship, which for anybody that doesn't know, that's a program at Lowell High School. So this one is specifically for Lowell High. They have a junior ROTC program, and that was started by a man named John Pacello, who graduated from Lowell High and from the ROTC program, and is actually in the Air Force. He was a pilot in the Air Force, and he decided to start a scholarship under the A.M.S.I Foundation, and he used to fund it completely by himself. We are lucky enough to be able to put money into it now with all of our events, but John still donates every single year to make sure that there's enough money in that scholarship to award to a student.
Nice.
And then we have the Educator Scholarship in memory of Ann Galimi. That is also in the memory of somebody, one of the people on our board. Her mom was a teacher and she passed several years ago. And so she made the decision to start a scholarship under her mother's name for a student that is going to go into teaching, that wants to be an educator. And then our final scholarship, this one's really cool. It's our newest scholarship. It's called the Second Chance Scholarship, and it's for the non-traditional student. And so what non-traditional means is for the student that either maybe dropped out of high school or got their GED, or maybe they graduated but they weren't able to go to college right away. Something else stopped them. They had to get a job, what have you. We are looking for people to apply to that scholarship. It's not as easy actually to get people to apply to that scholarship. Our other 4 scholarships, we give them right to the high schools. All the high schools get them. Second Chance Scholarship, we've had to work a little bit harder. So if anybody out there thinks they know someone that could apply for any of our scholarships, please share this information.
What is the amount of the scholarship, Shamai?
I'm sorry?
What is the amount of the scholarship?
Oh, they're $500 a piece.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not the most amount of money, but it's a decent chunk. It equals a couple of books. It could be towards a laptop. Some laptops are even cheaper than that. So.
No, I mean, I was astronomically overwhelmed when people tell me the cost of books now.
Yeah, they're expensive. Like, even used books are expensive. So,
but I really love the last one the most, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people who are trying to make that transition that maybe didn't have the maturity or whatever to go from high school on to college, but now they're trying to make themselves a better person. And you look and say, I want to start taking a class at the local community college. But
how do I do it?
How do I do it? Where's the money come from? Or, or in your case, like you said, I signed up for the class and then I went to the bookstore.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh my God, I didn't imagine it was going to cost that much money for books. Or,
Right.
Hey, I didn't realize I was going to need a nicer laptop than I have and stuff. It really does make a big difference. So walk me through reading the applications.
Yeah.
That's got to be overwhelming, So how many people are on the team reading?
So it differs year to year. So again, completely volunteer. That's one of our committees to be on the scholarship committee. This year we already have 10 people signed up to read, which is I think the most we've ever had. In years past, we've actually called people up that night and been like, please come. We're desperate for readers. Right, yeah, we'll buy you dinner, whatever it is. But we're lucky we were a little bit more on the ball this year, and we had people sign up, actually register to read with us. And so we're going to read at the end of April, I think, or the middle of April. And we were actually, Enterprise Bank is allowing us to use their community room, which is pretty amazing. Somebody on the committee that's reading with us works at Enterprise Bank. So we have a free space, quiet space to read them. And what we do is before the committee gets together, a group of us actually, we kind of take the names away from the applications. We number them. I
was going to ask that.
Yeah,
that's
so
essential.
So that the readers don't know the name of the student or the town that they live in or the school that they go to. So there's no
bias.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So that's like pre-work. That's not even. The committee doesn't even really see that. So we take the time to number all of the applicants, and then they read them in chunks and sections. We read every single application. So some people might think, oh, maybe they just looked at my application. No. We read every single piece of paper that you mail to us. So do a good job, take your time and fill it out correctly because we care.
I've been fortunate enough to be involved in a similar process with a group. And it's hugely challenging because no matter how much you try not to let your personal life get in the way, sometimes you read a story and you go, that was me.
Right.
That was me. And this guy is like me. And I'm voting for him and stuff, you look at it and just, fall in love with a story and stuff, So you guys read all these stories and then it comes down to, who's your person, Shimon?
Right, yeah.
And trying to, so then you have to kind of convince me why your person's better than my person.
Yeah, why they deserve it more. I mean, one day, ideally, instead of, right now we give one scholarship per criteria. One day it would be great if we could give 2 or 3,
Yeah, because it's tough because you get that, this guy might be a 10, this guy's a 999 or something.
Right,
I mean,
or you're like,
either,
what's the differentiating factor
sometimes
here?
4 or 5 people, they're just as, you'd be fine with either one of them winning and stuff. So it can be really tough. So, but that's definitely a huge challenge and stuff. But so again, what's the deadline to send in?
So it's March 15th, which is early next week, to postmark. Since we're doing this show today, I'm on the committee. I would admit to you, if you sent them in a little bit later in next week, we'll still consider them. We really want to make sure that people have the opportunity, still as quickly as possible, but we want to make sure that people have the opportunity to know about the scholarships and to apply for them. In particular, the Second Chance Scholarship, which again, it doesn't go directly to high schools. We've worked really hard this year to get them in front of different groups, like in the Lowell area and the Dracut area.
So is there a topic that they're writing about, Shimai?
So each scholarship actually has its own criteria, so it depends on the scholarship. We ask you a specific question depending on the scholarship. So all of them have a general question, and then I think most of them have a secondary question depending on the scholarship that you're applying for.
So now, again, one more time, if people want to volunteer to help in any way, shape, or form, or if they just, can they just send money?
Oh, yes, they can just send money.
Hey, someone who's heard about the GROTC scholarship, who may have been in that program, say, hey, that program really turned my life around.
Absolutely.
I want to make sure that one's funded.
A great point. So yes, so if you want to, first of all, if you want to get involved or you want to contact us in any way, visit our website, www.amsifoundation.org. There's a contact us page. Our address is in there. So if you did want to support us with a check, you could mail us a check, and in the memo, just write what it is that you are looking to support. Awesome. So if it's a specific scholarship, we also have a donate option right on the website as well. So if you just want to do a general donation, we have a PayPal page that you can make an online donation, and we'll send you a little thank you.
Perfect. Well, Shimai, we're out of time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Simple as that. We'll see you next time.